Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 30 vintage baseball card sales on eBay for the month of May. The list starts around $7,000 and climbs all the way to $60,000. In fact, this month, the 1952 Mantle was not even in the top three. Top spot was held by Joe DiMaggio. Do you know what card that is? Well, you'll be finding out shortly. Let's take a look at the list. 1951 Bowman Maze 3.5. This one sold for $7,000. Actually, I think this is a great copy. Just looking at the front on this, I like it. Compared to some other threes and stuff like that I've seen centering wise, this is great eye peel. Noah has some staining here on the back. And that's probably the reason why I got the half point on there rather than something higher. Although there is some damage, it does look like, to the corners. This is a great copy. I think also a pretty good price. I want to say ones are almost like $5,000. So you're talking about $2,000 more to get this 3.5. This one did pretty well. Starting off the list this week is this 1952 Bowman Nellie Fox. And this one is in a PSA 9 grade. This one sold for $6,695. I assume probably one of the highest graded for this card. Looks like a little bit of a diagonal cut though, from the top. Little border more. And sharp looking card overall. More pronounced here in the back, you can see right there. Unfortunately. I'm surprised they got a 9 from that big of a diagonal cut, although the rest of the card does look really nice. But obviously with the diagonal cut, there's some centering issues and stuff like that, but it almost looks pack fresh. This was sold by Alt XYZ. I believe they have also a sports card app, so I guess it's a cross post between their app and also the eBay store. $7,750. We have this 1949 Bowman Satchel Page 7 OC. Sharp card, but obviously the centering impacted it. This would be like a PSC 5 on your registry because of the qualifier on there. And one of two Satchel Page cards from 1949. Back centering doesn't look too bad, but we have that up here at the top. That's a card that a lot of people want to have that. Up next, we have this E92 Dockman & Sons Christy Matthews said, this is actually a pretty popular card, sold for $8,000. This was a PSA 5. I wouldn't even say like a PSA 1 or 2 still sells for a few thousand, which is, actually, hold on. Why do they show a 4 there and a 5? That's kind of weird. They're different cards though, because that has like a print effect or tape. Oh, and include a picture of PSA 4 for comparison. I was pretty confused. Like, why would you throw the 4 there? But that's like an error, and also like that's a really old slab. Well, I guess it's an old slab too. It starts with a 0, and it has like roller marks there. But either way, really great card. You're going to see back-to-back 1971 cards, but this is a Thurman Munson sold for $8,500 in a PSA 8. A lot of people like the 71 Munson better than his 70 and actually outsells it. There's another Yankee, though, second-year player, or second-year card, a lot more valuable, being Mantle. It's kind of funny how the hobby works sometimes, but pretty clean overall. A little bit edge wear over here. $9,300 for this Rod Crew 1971 in a 9 newer cert as well. This thing looks impeccable. I mean, this looks like it just came out of a pack yesterday. I mean, this is an amazing 9. I'm kind of surprised it didn't get the 10. Well, I guess because of the back centering, you can see a lot over here compared to there. And a little bit of print effect, but that front is gorgeous. That's one, I think that's one of the nicest 1971s I've seen. Really, really great card. Another awesome card, $10,000 for this 1954 Aaron rookie in a 6.5. Looks great here on the front. There is one issue on the back I saw. It was this right over here, which I assume is the reason why I got the 6.5. But Pretty clean overall too. These usually have a lot of chipping on it, which they don't. So I think there's a little bit more tolerance for that comparison. But the front looks awesome too. $10,099 for this Jackie Robinson 1952 diagonal cut. You can see that pretty obviously over here, shifted to the bottom left as well on this one, and kind of looks like your standard 4, maybe a little bit higher graded on this 4.5, but card a lot of people want. Back looks overall pretty clean. Such a polarizing card in the hobby. 1963 Rose in an 8, sold for $11,000. Tend to see a lot of print effects here at the top, and there's a print effect right here too. I like the 64 design better, but the 64 you can find often in better shape. $11,500 for this 1939 Ted Williams in a 5. A lot of these you'll find off-centered, so people do pay a pretty hefty premium for the centering on this one. This was sold by MC Sports Cards. And definitely a card I want to get. Although there's 3 variants of this, I want to get the sample. But I don't know when I'll find one. Maybe one day. $12,250 for this 1933 Gehrig in a 4.5. Also, I'm recording this, I believe, on Lou Gehrig's Day too. This has a PWCC above average eye appeal on this one. I don't know. I think this is just your normal 4. I think you have some rounded corners. The color is a little bit missing unless it's the picture, but top 30%. I know people pay more for stickers. $12,252 for this 1952 Burke Ross Willie Mays in an 8, sold by the NYC Comics and Cards. Well, I see these perforated at the bottom over here because they came in cards of 2. You always see these cards perforated either at the top or the bottom. And I can't remember with the Mays who was attached to them. This mantle did sell for $12,500, but it does look like it got relisted, so maybe it just didn't go through, but I'm still going to report on it. It's a PSA 8, the high grade on this. A little bit centering issues left to right. Looks like it was purchased on eBay and just wanted to reflip it in some capacity. Although it looks like this picture is out of the sleeve, so I wonder if they just grabbed it from the PSA website. Old Cert 2 with a 0 at the front. Another mantle, 1956 7.5, sold for $12,500 by Comic Warehouse. MVP year, as it mentions, and also the Triple Crown year. You have 2 different color backs on here, gray and white. One of them being a lot scarcer. I want to say it's the white back, but I could be wrong. I haven't paid attention too much to a 56 mantle in a while. Great centering on this card too. $12,700. The EUNC Candy. These are pretty tough to find, and this one was a hand cut. I'm surprised they didn't give a number grade to it, seeing that has all the border around over here. I've also noticed that SGC is more lenient on giving the number grade, while PSA tends to give out the authentic grade a lot more with those borders. So just as a recommendation, unless you're trying to build out a registry, if you're trying to get a numerical grade and you have the borders on the card, send that to SGC, whereas PSA will more likely give the authentic. But the opposite, like if you're missing a lot more borders, SGC is more hesitant to slab them up, whereas PSA will slab those up. So a little bit of tips for you guys on that. And you barely see these. So someone definitely wanted to have this cob in their collection. $12,850 for this 58 mantle and a PSA 8 grade. Actually, there's 2 58 mantles and 8s that sold this month. I think they're pretty close in price too. $13,125 for this PSA 10 of Danny O'Connell. I'm kind of unknown about him. I don't know much about him. So let's look up his stats. And we'll go to Baseball Reference. So 17 wins above replacement, which isn't too bad. 1,000 hits, 260 batting average. And debuted actually at 1950 military service. And there's his 1958 season. Batting average 232. So just a comment that someone wanted to have for the registry. And not saying it's not a nice card, but that is a super expensive price. 1949 Bowman Jackie Robinson in a 7. And this one sold for $14,112. Almost looks like you have some other card over here. I can't tell though. Centering is not the best on this example. This almost looks like that Satchel page with the centering, except this is to left to right versus top to bottom. So I know I want to say PSA got rid of their qualifiers at some point. This feels like a perfect 7 OC candidate. Great corners though and everything like that. I'll turn over to the back. I mean, it's a nice card, but centering is a little bit to be desired. Our second, Christy Mathewson. This one sold for $15,500. Runner's Bred 5.5. Awesome grade. I wish they showed the back over here. It's still a big pet peeve of mine, especially if you're selling a $15,000 card. Show me the back. Because you can't really search this SGC cert and find a picture. Newer SGC certs you can, but this one will not be on there. Up next, we have a Sweet Capital T206 Ty Cobb Bat on Shoulder SGC 5. This one sold for $17,000. Not a rare back by any means. It does have this PWCC sticker that matters to you and has the MBA sticker, double sticker, double the comp. Just kidding. But regardless, it does look like a fairly clean example. $17,500, 1949 Leaf Jackie Robinson in a 4.5. Always probably the most popular card across the board. People love paying up for it. $18,000, 1921 Exhibits Babe Ruth in a 2.5. Clean back. Overall, not a bad copy. $19,457 for this 33 Gaudy Babe Ruth. I'd rather have the exhibit, to be honest with you, but I love these Gaudis. Standard PSA 4 on this one. $20,100 for this 1933 Gaudy Ruth NF5. As I've said multiple times, buy the card, not the grade. Because I don't think this looks like a great 5. I think that 4 even earlier looked way nicer. See this 5 over here. It looks like there's something going on right over here. The centering is kind of iffy. And someone pays a little bit more for that 5. $25,000 for this 1969 Reggie Jackson rookie in a SGC 9. Very clean back overall. One of your classic rookie cards from the 1960s. $28,000 for this authentic mantle. Just shows you how much people love this card, man. Wow, you have that corner missing, that corner missing. All of that missing. Some staining over here. Back at least looks clean. I wish it was the opposite. A crease over here through the forehead, but people pay up for that mantle. I still think it's overrated, and I'll keep preaching. $35,000 for a BVG mantle in a 6. This looks like a pretty clean copy. I don't know if it would cross to a full 6, especially with the staining over here in the back, unless that is the picture, but it does look like there's some staining issues. But the front looks really, really great. $49,000 for this T206 Mantle Sweet Capital in a 7. Old cert, but this card does look really nice. But over here to the back as well. In the top spot for sales this week is this 1936 Worldwide Gum Joe DiMaggio. I love this card compared to his Gaudy or also his 39 play ball, which people always throw on. Oh, these are the rookie cards. No, DiMaggio had an earlier card. Worldwide Gum, part of Gaudy or worked with Gaudy in some capacity, because you saw a lot of the Gaudy Gum cards always have the Worldwide Gum on it if they're issued in Canada. We'll see some of the C Raiders and different things like that. Not to go too much in those details, but way harder to find than those other two cards as well. On these, I've seen a few of these at the National, but that's about it. I will say I think the 4 is pretty generous based off of like some of these corners and staining and centering, but it's a very tough card to find. Yeah, my statement will still stand that the 4 is very generous on this one Based over here. This kind of looks like a 2.5 to me. But I don't know if this was like an old slab that got reslabbed recently or whatnot. But still, it's one of those cards that they just don't pop up that often or sell that often. So you are going to have to pay quite a premium on that. So let's take a look at some of the honorable mentions that sold this week. This is a pretty funny sale. Seller over here tried to sell this for 150,000. Accepted $300 for this fake Babe Ruth. I mean, it's gonna go to authentication. Some authenticator is gonna laugh at this, and then it's gonna go back. That's a horrible fake. But also, I just thought it was hilarious. $150,000 by now. Accepted $300. I thought you guys would have a chuckle. $10,000 for this 1956 complete set. It says X 55 PSA graded cards. Aaron 5, Mantle 5, Maze 5, and the Koufax in a 5. Again, one of those you probably just have to break out all the different prices, see if it's worth it for you or not, although it is a lot of effort to build some of these sets. $4,700 for this Doyle, I'm going to probably mispronounce the last name, but Lade or Lad, is in a 9, which we saw the other 1951, I think was a 9 also that sold this week. So 2 high grades. Clean card, although there looks like there's some corner issue over there. And no picture of the back, unfortunately, so I can't show that with you guys. And just to look up this guy's stats, because I do want to start looking these up. Played from 1946 through 1950, so it's the last playing day card. And 4.6 WAR, 4.39 ERA, 1.5 WHIP, so not the best pitcher back. And lastly, we have this 1928 Babe Ruth. This sold for $3,400. Give me this card all day long over a Gaudi. Way tougher to find, and I think this is actually pretty cool. I like that a lot. And I want to say this is also from Cuba. And that's our top vintage baseball sales for the month of May. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out some of the other top 30 videos that I produce. I'm doing right now 8 per month. I do want to expand this out into the future, but I have to have people watching those other videos, so check them out.